the first part. I am Blage. I'll be GMing this monstrosity, and I am joined today by a wonderful assortment of 4 people. You may or may not see them, assuming this is working. So, let's see. Introduce myself. Okay, I'm Blage. I work in a lab. It's very exciting. And I GM 5th edition. Nothing interesting has gone on in my life since last week. Watched Spectre with James Bond. That was good. That's it. Okay, so, Master of Hentai, take it away. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Alright, well, I am Master of Hentai, of course. I just turned on the Steam, so I'm hearing myself. Alright. Yeah, I have a Twitter account where I post very distasteful jokes. Otherwise, I'm just a dude on the interwebs. I'm pretty new to this, so be patient. Thanks for my time.
Okay, and Kev, yourself.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Kev. I'm a hobbit from down under, and by that I mean New Zealand. I live about like 15 minutes that way from like Hobbiton, where they filmed The Shire and Lord of the Rings.
So
I'll be playing like Alana today, knowledge cleric, well, cleric quote unquote. And I guess that's it.
Did you actually see them filming The Hobbit when they were doing it?
I actually saw part, like, we drove past it, so...
It wasn't
not
something
really.
you went and stood at the sidelines of?
No,
You just
I don't
kind of,
think they were letting us in. It was completely closed off at the time they were filming.
Fair enough. And Todd, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about your life.
Is the mic working?
It is indeed. You're live.
Oh.
Welcome to the internet.
Sweet. That's what happens when you give a guy that really shouldn't be using computers a computer. I'm Todd. I have one of those jobs that you are not supposed to talk about because it puts you on one of those watch lists. I play with explosives for a living. It's my job. I blow things up.
Okay, yes.
Oh, that was better than what I thought it was going to be. Different kind of watch list.
Yeah, you should try going into the States with my job. It's like a full body search every time I cross the border. It's crazy. I'm just getting back into role playing after a very long absence. I used to play a lot when I was a teenager. So yeah, that's me. I am playing a very crazy rogue. Very crazy. As by our test game, he's nuts. So yeah, that's me.
And PJ?
Hello. I'm the only one here who doesn't have an awesome job. Sorry. I'm just some random teenager from Portugal. And that's about it.
That sort of random teenager.
Yeah.
You enjoying
Just
the Portuguese weather at the moment, or is it as cold over there as it is over here?
It's winter. It's winter. It's not very good.
What character are you playing, PJ?
Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. I'm playing a wood elf who is a wizard.
Fantastic.
Okey-dokey. And Hentai, I believe you missed out what character you're playing. Please tell us all about that.
Sorry, I'm eating, so I'm mute myself. I'm playing a jolly gold warlock.
A jolly
God.
gold?
Yeah, jolly, not so old warlock, but he's jolly.
Okie dokes. So, let's see. That's everyone. So, we are going to be playing Beyond the Bridge, which is a 5th edition game of Dungeons and Dragons, set in a world where, to the east, there's a pretty boring and dull empire which controls everything, practically. And to the west, there's a gigantic river. Some might argue it's an ocean, but that's a matter for geologists. Beyond this river, or beyond the bridge, is a frontier land. If you think cowboys, Wild West, that kind of thing, but filled with monsters, magic, ancient ruins, and all sorts of things that would attract adventurers to venture beyond the relative safety of the East. This is kind of inspired quite heavily by West Marches over on ItMeJP's channel, run by a great GM, Stephen Lumpkin, who is just the best. And ridiculously, thank you to him for the post where he posted a bunch of resources he uses for running a West March style game. It was very helpful. Also, blame him if you run into some horribly mutated thing.
Yeah.
Totally not me.
Have you seen his Pinterest account?
Yeah.
That's some maddening shit there.
He actually convinced me to get Pinterest because I saw him with Pinterest and I was like, I should actually finally get that. Because every time Pinterest comes up, I go, oh, I have to sign up. Nah, I can't be doing that. But especially since I've been doing a lot of prep for this at work, on my lunch break on my phone. So Google Docs, great help. And coffee. Coffee is a great help as well. So each week we grab 4 adventurers who are completely random dudes. I've never met any of these people before, and I'm sure they will hate me by the end of the 4 hours they're about to embark on. They get together in a town called Haven, usually in a tavern called The Last Hope. The Last Hope for good liquor, good ale, good wine before you go further west. Haven is the last kind of vestige of proper civilization, and beyond that, though it may be populated or not, it's not a pleasant place. And so we're going to drop right into it. Could you all give a description of what your character looks like? And this time we'll go right to left, so we'll start with PJ. Tell us what your elven wizard looks like.
Are we sitting in the tavern basically?
Yeah. If you want to be sat in the tavern or standing outside or milling around town, that's up to you. I'm assuming that since none of you know each other, you've just kind of met up in the tavern and met eyes across the crowded tables, or not so crowded currently, really.
We're huddled around a piece of bounty paper with the bounties written on them.
Indeed. Speaking of which, I should probably pull that up for myself.
Okay. So, can I begin?
Yes. Go for it.
Okay. So, as you look at this elf, I suppose they already know my name. So
not necessarily. This is the first time you've met. You've
Okay.
recognized that kind of look, people on an adventure kind of deal. You've banded together. So feel free to walk up to the table and introduce yourself.
Okay. So. So hello to you all. I see. Well, okay. I won't speak in first person because I'm a terrible actor. So I'll speak in third person. Okay. So he comes up to you, and you can see that he's short. He has black hair, black eyes, and white skin. You can't understand. It's not easy to see from the way how he looks that he's a wizard, because he's a noob. He doesn't have fancy robes, nor a fancy staff. No, he just has some common clothes and a backpack. So he's just So he looks just like another adventurer, and that's about it.
Okay. And Todd, could you please tell us about Raven?
Raven's just your average height human. He's got leather armor and a dark cloak, and he's that git that's been running around town handing out flyers, saying we'll pick locks and find traps for money. And you can definitely tell by his accent that he is nothing more than a country bumpkin.
Sorry to jump in there for a second. Todd, did you tell us your character's name?
Yes, it's Raven.
And PJ, what was your character's name?
He's called Philly.
Awesome, fantastic.
So, tell us a bit about Alana. What does this, in quotation
so-
marks, cleric look like?
All right, so you guys see Alana get seated at the tavern. She's got a piece of bounty paper in front of her. She's dressed in, I think, mail armor. She's got like a shield with a symbol of what some of you may recognize as Olgum, the god of knowledge, leaning against her seat. On her chest is a small plaque, a metallic plaque, with the words "cleric" written on them. Except the words look kind of weird because the I is strangely misproportioned, and the C is like angular. It's like two straight lines. But other than that, I guess she's human, female. She's mid early 20s, and she's got dark hair and dark eyes.
Okay. And Carson, tell us about you. Not Carson. Hentai, tell us about your jolly warlock.
Alright. He is tall and skinny. He has purple eyes. His skin is pale and he has a red goatee, swirl mustache, and the back slicked hair. Wearing the typical cultic hooded garment with daggers at his sides, one with inscribed alien letters. He is Carson Foley.
Dun dun. Dramatic music is necessary. So I'm assuming when you walk in, the rafters creak slightly and the lighting changes a bit. Is it a dramatic
Obviously.
entrance? Yeah,
Of course.
I figured as much. Okay, so you're now inside the Last Hope, the Tavern of Haven, and you can see the barkeep wandering around. And the tables, they're pretty empty. It's early in the morning, the sun's just beginning to rise, not many people are here. But mounted behind the bar, you can see a vicious looking, almost a wolf, but it just looks a bit too bestial, a bit too furious to be a wolf, and you can see a dull glow, like a dull red glow in its eyes. You've all probably heard the tale of the last band of adventurers to set forth from this town.
In fact, I think they carved a crude map on the table in front of us, didn't they?
Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. But I think that somebody made a map in their own time, which was very nice.
Yes.
I'll just have to start moving mountains about to confuse you. Anyway, so it's pretty dead. It's pretty silent in the Last Hope, and you're all gathered around this table, drawn to each other. And what is going to drive you forth from this safety and into the wilderness? What bounty have you selected upon?
Well, I think Alana says to the others, "Oh, well, I think all of us know why we're here today. I think it's agreed upon that we would head out west and check out this oasis desert where we've read about this Templar Damien from the Blessed Order of the Valiant. I'm not exactly sure what we would do against a demon, but I am out here looking for something. And this seems as good as a place to start as any. You know their language, Carson.
Yes, indeed. Lovely. We can talk to them.
Wow.
Have a nice chat.
Well, I'm not sure about chatting to demons. That
We could
doesn't seem
try.
like the best idea. But we could try.
Who knows? If we buy a chicken and sacrifice it to him, he will surely be friendly.
So what you mean by it is that we need to bring along, what would you call it, a portable goat?
Yes, indeed. I wink at him.
At least one. I really think we need 2 portable goats.
I think does anyone in this party know anything about demons?
I've read something about them, but you can never tell what is written in books is real or not.
Can I roll on this?
So, hentai.
Can I
Carson.
roll my knowledge of demons?
Yes, I would like to as
I
well.
think an Arcana checks are in order for those of you who wish to question about
Oh, you switched the
such
character.
things.
Okay, I will make
Okay.
one.
Oh, we know exactly the same thing.
Yeah, we just like to talk over each other. Exact same words.
Just a moment. Okay. Okay, I'm completely in the dark. I know nothing.
Okay. And Todd, do you want to make an Arcana check as well, since everyone else has?
Raven knows absolutely nothing about demons other than the fact he's going to get paid. That's all that matters.
Sure that.
I don't think
Sure
you
that.
read the bounty well enough. So,
I don't think there's anything written on the bounty about getting paid, is there?
Wait, what?
No, there isn't.
Also,
There's nothing written about getting paid.
you haven't got a bounty. The demon in the Oasis is a rumor that's been passed around. So one of you has written this down on a parchment to make it look official. I like that. I like that a lot. So Alana and Carson, both of you know that demons are probably real. They appear in a lot of folklore and religious treaties, and usually seek only to destroy and corrupt, and feast upon the flesh of mortals. It's said that those who in life are wicked and debased are at the mercies of the demons in their afterlife, and are forever rent and torn until they too become twisted, like the tormentors.
All right.
Would we know from that skill check how likelihood we would be to run into a demon at this said oasis, or if it's more likely that it's just something that's blown out of proportion?
You don't know. No.
Do I know what
You
demons
don't know
like?
what efforts it would take to bring a demon into this world, or whether they materialize in this world upon their own, nor do you know the particulars of the Oasis. At this point, you know nothing.
I would know, because I would know at least where to find this information because of my researcher feat.
Yes.
Or my background.
I have the same
2
thing.
months east, in the mighty empire, there is the secluded library of Avita.
Fair enough.
You're sure that all information would be housed there.
All right. Shall we travel to the library then?
No, we're not
the
traveling to the
Empire
library.
Is months of travel away. We don't have time for
I
that.
want to check out the library.
You will never make it there in time to do anything and come back.
A single tear drops from my eye.
Well, while you're traveling to the library, the rest of us are taking the portable goat, and we're going to check out the oasis.
Okay, so I say to the parties, well, from what I've heard, this oasis is about a week's travel west of here in a desert called the Arid Flats. I highly doubt that we'd be able to make a week's travel enough time to do anything about this. So I suggest we go and talk to this Empire Damien to see if he can possibly requisition us some horses in a wagon or something to make better time. And also we can get more information from him.
Yeah, sounds lovely. I still want to buy a chicken though. Can I buy a chicken? How much does that cost?
Chicken? Let's see. Chickens. Cost of chicken.
I think it's like 2 silver or 1 silver.
More importantly, can we get a goblin to drive the wagon? Because that would just be way cooler.
Is anyone proficient in persuasion?
I am.
I think a chicken would be 2 gold.
Can we
But my charisma
can we-
isn't that high.
can we barter for the horses and the animals?
We'll ask the Templar first if he can loan us some horses.
As a point,
If,
there is no stable in Haven. There is no seller of horses. So
Okay.
perhaps
So
if later on somewhere were to invest some money, there might be horses available. But currently, no.
Oh,
Sorry if that puts a small damper on your plans.
alright.
Plus, horses
So
are
out
like
of- out of
75
charac-
gold each. So
out of character and kind of meta, I know for a fact that the last party made it 2 days in their 4 hours. How the hell are we supposed to make 7 days in 4 hours?
Rolled really well.
Okay,
Very
fuck
good.
it. You know what? Alana goes to like the local, general store, and she buys 2 poles, and then she spends a while using those 2 10-foot poles and her tent to make a stretcher, and we're gonna fucking Chinese army this shit, and 2 of us are gonna carry one person while the other person carries his pack. We're gonna force march this shit for 7 days.
I approve.
if that
That's
is your
just too
wish.
awesome. Let's do that.
I
So
mean, you go to the general stores. Is this your course of action?
Well, we have to think up some way of making up good time for 7 days is ages anyway.
are there is no stable, but are there any horses in Haven?
Not that you know of. I mean,
Okay.
surely there are horses owned by someone, but you haven't investigated Haven. You've just arrived. There's no knowledge you have.
Okay. Just a bit of metagaming. What classes do we have in this party?
Warlock.
Was rogue?
Okay. 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 So, sorry. You can continue.
It's alright. So, shall we go and look around for horses then?
I think that was just kind of like a out of sight thing. I think we go and see the Templar Damien for more information about this.
Okay.
I wish to, but before we do that, I wish to barter for a chicken.
A chicken. You
Yeah.
find a scruffy-looking guy who's holding a chicken by its feet and it's squawking loudly and flapping its wings. And you spot him and stroll over, and he goes, "Ah, interested in my chicken? Cross my
Yes.
palm with 2 imperial coins of solid gold.
I'll give it for you two for 1 gold. Sir,
5 gold. Excellent.
1 gold.
What?
Okay, yeah.
And he holds up the chicken in your face, and it goes, "Bark."
Alright.
And he goes, "You cannot afford my chicken. Be gone. Unless you do, in fact, have 2 golden imperials." And he squints at you.
Alright, here's the thing, dude. Have about 100 gold at home. But I am too lazy to go and get it right now because I want to bring the chicken there. So if I pay you 1 gold right now, I can give you the rest later. I'm a trustworthy individual. Can I roll a deception check?
Roll a bit. Oh, deception. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I forget that exists. Wow. Whew. Sorry. So as you're talking, he's like, "What do you think, chicken?" And he holds it up to its face, and the chicken's head just looks at you and goes, "Quack!" And then he goes, "Quack!" And then him and the chicken make a cacophony of you feel very silly, and a couple of people pass by in the street and look at you.
I feel very sad about it.
Okay. So we go see the Templar.
I think he's the only one there. We've gone to see the Templar.
Okay, so the rest of you all rock up at the small chapel. It's a rough wooden building made of half split logs, and it doesn't really have a door. It just has like a large archway which leads into a small area with a couple of pews and an altar which is pretty much just a table with rough spun cloth draped over it. And you walk in and you can immediately spot the person who is the only man in here, who is the Templar Damien. He's wearing well polished, some would say overly polished plate armor, and he's kneeling before the altar with his hands clasped together.
I guess Ilana walks up behind him, not exactly being sneaky or anything, and she says, "Excuse me, we're looking for a Templar named Damien."
And he stands up and he beams broadly and he goes, "Yes, I am Templar Damien,
Yes,
Blessed Order of the Valiant. Welcome to this small chapel.
Thank you.
Please, your offerings."
We came on a different matter instead. I'm afraid we didn't come with offerings. We've
No
heard
matter.
that you were seeking some adventurers or travelers or something to go out west to look at an oasis. I hear there's been a demon infestation there.
He perks up immediately and he's like, "Yes, yes. Oh, was about a week or two ago a traveller came from that way, horribly scarred, and speaking of the foul beast. Yes, it's surely a demon. Would that it were that I myself could stride in glorious battle to defeat this monster. But no,
What is stopping you from doing so?
I have given sacred oaths to the Order of the Blessed Valiant. I must stay here and protect Haven, for this fledgling would not survive without a strong arm to guide it."
The town does seem rather ill prepared for troubles.
With the grace of Kord, these shall be strong men who wield the spear in their hands.
Did he give a description, this traveler, or where could we find this traveler to ask more information about this demon?
Then you have set it in your heart to venture and destroy this abomination against man and God.
It would seem
Yes.
like something worth doing.
Well,
Or
let
at
us
least
not
worth
tarry with
finding out
words
more about.
anymore. The traveller, so injured is he rests inside. And he points off to a small side door. He goes,
All right. If he's going there, then I guess we follow him.
no, he just like gestures off in that manner and
Oh,
kind of
okay.
moves over, holds the door open.
All right.
And you can see
All right. So we
inside-
go and look for the traveler.
You see inside,
Mhm.
it's a small room. It's got like a large, like, wardrobe type deal blocking most of it, and it's half open the door, and you can see like an armor stand in it, and there's a couple of beds crammed together, and some assorted religious items lying around. So you see a couple religious symbols and some candles and incense, and several swords in various degrees of sheening polish. You immediately see the traveller they're referring to. He's lying on the bed with shallow breathing. His skin is pale and pallid, and he's quite sweaty. And you can see across half his face and going down below where the blanket is drawn up to him, this horrible burn that just scars him. He's currently asleep.
All right. I guess Ilana takes a chair over to the bed and sits down beside him and like gently shakes him awake. And
So-
she's like, "Sir."
So you gently shake awake the traveller, and he opens his eyes, and you see for a moment a look of panic in his eyes, and then he kind of sees you and realizes where he is, and he goes, "Who are you? What do you want?"
We've been asked by Damien, Templar Damien, to go and check out this oasis that you found.
No, don't go there! The terrible creature will kill you all! It's madness!
What type of creature is?
A
Can you
demon!
describe it?
With terrible horns and a hide so thick! It was scarred and black, like the night's itself, and it exhaled a great plume of fire that burned so terribly. It will incinerate you all. Don't go. please stay. And you see the man like reaches feebly out from beneath the blanket and like grasps your knees, and you can feel his hands are very weak and they're just like sliding down your knee. And he goes, "Don't go, stay, stay." And he starts like, you can see that welling of tears, like he's about to start crying openly.
We should calm him down.
Yeah. How would we calm him down though? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, my character is
guess-
very awkward. We can't.
I guess Alana just spends a while. She's like, sir, just calm down, breathe with me, and then she just like takes deep breaths.
Okay, make a charisma roll. Just charisma check. Just. roll one
Oh
of them.
god. So just a charisma check. So I just roll performance since I don't have proficiency.
No, just performance will work. But you can roll charisma checks by clicking the button by the
Oh right. Okay.
by the stat, not the heart, because that's a save. Okay, so you begin
Yeah.
breathing with him.
This isn't the shaped sheet, so it doesn't have a heart and a save. It just has the save button.
Ah, well. Anyway, so you see him visibly begin to calm. His breathing gets smooth. It's almost as if you exude a holy aura that becomes this man, and he begins to breathe more regularly. And he goes, perhaps the gods are with you. Maybe you can best this beast. Do it. Do it for
Trust
those
us.
that did not return.
Trust us. We can handle this, but we need your guidance. We need your
No!
direction
No,
to travel.
I'm not going.
this desert.
Oh, directions.
No, we don't
And you
need.
see him like
we
there's
don't
a
need-
momentary panic which passes quite quickly, and
Yeah.
he's like, I remember
Describe with us
fleeing. I remember
flight.
fleeing the desert and heading to the east for many days until I got to Haven. In truth, it is all a blur, but I remember when I came upon the oasis. I was traveling south from these ruins that cropped out from the desert sands like towers. They looked so peaceful. And he shakes
How
his head.
How far were these ruins from the oasis?
Oh, we camped one night between them and the oasis. And you see when he says we, there's like a little bit of pain in his voice.
How many was in your party who arrived at the oasis?
7. Jacob, Jeff, Brian, Marlo. His voice trails off. GM has ran
She,
out
like-
of random names.
She like puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "We'll bring back some remembrances from them. Don't you worry."
No,
Uh,
no. And he becomes like panicking again, and he says, "The demon, it melted them. They turned to ash before my eyes." He calms quickly down again. He starts doing the breathing exercise you've taught him. He's like, and you can tell his breath is like pretty shallow.
I asked him. I understand you were in a state while you were making your way to Haven, but do you happen to remember any landmarks you encountered upon the way?
Let's see. You got a 20 for calming him down. I think he might remember some landmarks. Let's see. Dum. Do. He says, I remember there was the dead, so many dead, beneath the trees. The trees were on my left, but there were so many dead. It was the only time I turned, for fear that I might run into yet more of hell's denizens. And that's all he remembers. And you can see him like bite his lip and try and remember, like he's trying his hardest, but he just can't. It's obvious that this man
Okay.
fled in a blind panic.
All right. I think I honestly think that's all the information we're going to get out of him. This man seems like his brain's scrambled. No, I don't say that to him, obviously.
Why, sir, you wound me! It is not my brain, but my very soul. Sorry, carry on.
I think we go back and speak briefly to the Templar before we leave. We don't want to spend too much time on this.
Yeah. So as you leave the small room, you can see the Templar there, and he closes the door, and he's like, "Thank you, but you're away with him, which is most gracious." And he looks at your chest and sees the word cleric on you, and for the first time, he like gives you like a nod of appreciation.
Ilana is kind of like embarrassed almost. So she asks him, so we've spoken to the traveler and he seems quite shaken up. He says that this Hellspawn slaughtered, like 6 of his party members? It's 7 days away. Do you have any sort of convenience that would allow us to travel there with much haste? We would like to get there as soon as possible to deal with the situation before it kills any more travelers or innocents.
And he nods and goes, "Were I able, I would lend you my steed, but I had to sell it to raise enough funds to construct this chapel. I received no token pouch to bring with me to here. I am sorry." Perhaps,
she nods in understanding.
and he says, "Perhaps the Lord, if you could convince him of the severity this Hellspawn imposes."
Could we get some sort of written note or permission from you to beseech the Lord for aid in this matter?
Certainly. And he goes in the room, like slamming the door open. You see like the wardrobe with the armor stand shakes, and the crazed traveler in the bed's like, and he like snatches up some parchment and a piece of charcoal and hastily scribbles you a message, and you can tell his handwriting is abysmal before you even look at the note. And it says, "Sir Mr. Grace, I beseech you, these adventurers seek to rid this land of a Hellspawn most dire. Please give them horses in the name of the mighty Lord Cord, whose strength is one." And then it like runs out of paper because his handwriting is too big. He,
All right.
He looks at it, and you see him like frown, like that frown of concentration, and then he goes, "Take this."
All right. She takes it and then she thanks him and says, "I think we must make haste. So thank you for your assistance. We'll come back and talk to you about this matter once it is resolved."
Okay. So
Can I try one more thing as this chicken farmer?
yeah, on the peasant, yeah.
Alright, okay, so I have like this pouch of copper coin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of 100 copper coin.
Yeah.
So I walk up to the farmer and say, "Hello, I got your gold right here for you." And then I open the bag slightly and cast minor illusion to make it look like gold.
Okay. So I think this is intelligence save from the man to see if he knows he's being tricked.
Yeah, spell DC 14, I remember, but I can.
So his eyes widen, and he goes, "Thank you," and he holds out his hand.
Yeah, I close the pouch, reach it out to him, and reach my other hand out for the chicken.
Oh, he gives you the chicken gladly. When he realizes you're offering the entire pouch, and he takes it greedily.
Yeah.
And quickly bolts before in his mind you realize that you just gave him 100 gold for a chicken. But he's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck!" And he just bolts into the town.
I walk back happily.
Cool.
All right. So we make our way over to the Lord's estate, wherever that is.
Okay, so it takes you not long to arrive at the estate of His Grace Truman von Ehrstoff, and it's a pretty basic estate. um, it's oh yeah, I'm gonna, sorry, excuse me a moment while there we go. So it's a pretty basic estate. You can see a large manse, like maybe 10, 20 rooms, big double doors, small like fence of rough-hewn wood around the outside, and you can see a couple of people walking around. You do see a chestnut mare being like, that's a horse, being pulled along by a what looks like a servant. And as you approach the front of it, there are several men with spears and chainmail standing with the expression of bored guards, and then they see you approaching, and they kind of challenge you and go, "Oh, who comes there?" At the point, the estate of His Grace Truman von Ehrstoff is like, it's within Haven, but it's like just on the outskirts, on a little bit of a hill overlooking. Yeah, it's not like another.
It's the Lord looking over his town, basically.
Yeah, pretty much that kind of deal.
Yeah. So, like, I guess Alana approaches them, and the sun kind of glints off her shield for a moment and illuminates the symbol of Ogum. And she says, "Hail! We come seeking His Grace von Ehrstoff on a matter most grave concerning hellspawns to the west. We have with us a note from Damien, the Templar from the Blessed Order of the Valiant."
Okay, make a persuasion check with advantage.
All right. Can I? No. I for IP purposes, I'll save that for later.
What's that? 17?
Yeah.
So the guard takes the piece of paper and looks at it in a most like, well, yes, I'm reading this paper manner, and you can clearly tell that he can't read. And he hands you back the paper and goes, Of course. Let me escort you to the door." And he travels with the three of you, because hentai is chicken wrestling. To the front door.
I need that damn chicken.
To the front
I'm
door
so
of
glad
this
he's not
manse.
here. This fucking random dude of a chicken.
I saved 95 silver on that deal, and I'm damn proud of it.
So you are led to the door, and the guard kind of gives you a nod, pushes open the door, and motions inside. And beyond, you can see what is a rough approximation of a grand entrance, but the walls are bare. The like little cupboards and tables haven't got like very many fancy looking things on them. You can see a rough carpet that's covering a rather fresh and new wooden floor. And as you come in, a man comes hurrying out from a door just to the right with an expression of concern. He's quite thin, wearing a long dark blue robe, no hood, just kind of cut off, quite plain. And he's got a neat goatee, drawn back hair, and he comes up and he goes, No, this won't do. You have no appointment. What are you doing here?
Like I explained to your guard, we come on a matter most dire. It's concerning Hellspawn.
It's always Hellspawn?
Yes, Templar Damien from the Blessed Order of the Valiant.
Ah, yes, Templar Damien, the overly pious. Emphasis on the overly. Yes. Oh, what's he got you cretins doing?
Yes, he says he has reports of Hellspawn approaching the town of Haven from the west.
Yes, approaching the town? Approaching the... No, they were ages away, a week. In a desert so far from here. That is not a concern.
Well, the last time she's kind of like lying now. The last time we've heard about this, the Hellspawn were seen headed this way.
Okay. Make a deception test.
Oh shit. Okay, come on.
Okay,
come on.
So this thin old man kind of gives you a piercing look and goes, No. My sources tell me something different. I'm afraid the Templar must have led you astray. What a shame.
Then, regardless of which, we would like to go and deal with this problem before it
Then
kills
go!
any more lives and innocents. I'm afraid it's quite far away, 7 days. We would not get there in time for us to be of any help. We came with Damien's
Why? Is it a
Templar
pressing matter?
Damien's.
Surely
Yes.
if they are approaching the town, then you will... And the wizened old man, like, crosses his arms. Surely if they are approaching the town, you would encounter them on the way.
Well, like you
A
said, I
hellspawn,
trust.
as you say, it
I
must
trust-
make such a great gout of smoke and fire.
I trust your information more than the Templars, obviously. So clearly, it's still back at the Oasis. So therefore, we would need some sort of conveyance that would allow us to get there in time in order to aid anyone who might still be alive. The last party that ran into it was a party of 7. Only one of them made it into the town. Perhaps there are others who are still alive.
Yes. Perhaps there are others who are still alive. However, those are not citizens of Haven, and I doubt it is of any consequence to the esteemed Grace. And the man, like, ruffles himself like that's that, and he goes, well, if you want to deal with this problem, I suggest you get walking.
My character steps forward and says, "Sir, we speak. We come here to deliver a message from the Templar. This is. It is
I
not
hand him the
us." She shows him the note. If you will not allow us to speak to the Lord, then sorry, what's the name of the Templar?
Templar Damien.
Damien. Then Sir Damien will have to come here himself. Do you wish to cause such a nuisance?
Okay, make a persuasion check. I like that. That's a good angle.
I'm screwed.
Roll high.
I hope. Let's see, where is it? Persuasion.
Oh,
So
it's not bad.
you see the man like furrow his brow, like the last thing he wants is Damien the overly pious coming to his lord's manse and trampling around in his heavy armor and cracking the floorboards. And you can see as the man thinks about it more and more, your words have wormed into his ear, and he goes, "Very well." And he snatches the paper out of Alana's hand.
Clutch
and says,
save.
"And what is it that you wish then?"
We wish to ask him for steeds to reach this
To loan
hellspawn.
us- To loan us steeds
yes.
to get to this oasis as rapidly as possible to rescue any possible survivor.
The man like looks at the paper and goes, "Steeds. You think the Lord is a simple horse merchant to loan out beasts?"
He's a mighty.
Very well,
mighty
very well. And he
hero,
holds up his
citizen.
hand and goes, "I shall beseech the Lord on your behalf. Wait here, and don't touch any." Actually, he like walks over to the door and goes, "Men, what's these? Travelers. I don't trust them." And he turns back into the room and he goes, "I don't trust you, any of you." And you can see the guards like tromping over down the main entrance. They come in and they stand there, and the man goes out of the room. Door closes, and one of the guards leans over to Philly and goes, "Looks like you caught him in a bad mood. Don't worry, he's always in a bad mood."
So while we
What are you
wait,
here for,
Alana
anyway?
asks one of the guards to pose in a heroic pose, and then she gets out an ink and quill and a piece of parchment and starts sketching him.
Okay, give me a charisma save, persuasion check. You know what I mean. Okay.
Oh, come on.
So he kind of like does a heroic pose when you ask him, and then when you start drawing him, he gets all like shy and bashful, and like goes, "Oh, stop doing that thing with the paper. Stop it. Stop. You know, some people believe that takes your soul." But the guards ask you what you're here for.
I guess we explain the same thing to them again.
Okay, so you like off in the distance, the man you spoke to is obviously doing something, but the guard like leans in and goes, "For 4 of you."
Yes.
Well, as far as I'm aware, his esteemed grace only has 2 steeds, and one of them is his personal mount. I fear you are wasting your time here.
Alana sighs.
Can
She looks at the others and is like, "Do you think we should continue to wait here, or should we get going there? Because 2 horses, and I highly doubt that the Lord is going to lend us his personal steed. So even with
Yes.
one horse, this would make a functional difference."
Raven asks if there's a wagon.
Oh, that's a good idea.
A wagon
So-
or a cart.
And the guard who's there goes, wagon. You'll have to talk to the merchant for a wagon. But I don't think there are any traders in town. They're pretty rare, what with the duties at the bridge.
All right.
And then the other guard kind of nudges the guard and goes, "Well, you could always build one." And they chuckle.
hmm,
Yeah, honestly, I think we should abandon this line and just get going. We've wasted enough
Yeah.
time doing this.
yeah, okay.
Okay. So you all kind of meet up back in the town centre, leaving the estate of Truman von Aristoff behind.
I
And as you
proudly present
leave,
my chicken.
as you leave, you perhaps hear a man in the distance going, "Good riddance," stomping his feet moodily. But you get back to town and you see Carson Foley there with a chicken held by his hands and a big grin on his face. Can you give me a perception test, Lana?
All right.
Off in the distance, you can see a man who's holding a large pouch, just tossing it in the air and going, oops, catching it, and he keeps looking back at Carson Foley as he stands there with the chicken going, and you see him just disappear behind some of the rough wooden houses of Haven.
All right. So I say to Carson, "I'm afraid we have no luck on the horses. It seems like this entire town is bereft of equines. So I'm going to have to say that we're going to have to just hoof it."
Such sad news. But on the good side, I managed to get a chicken and save 95 silver on it. Are you not going to comment?
Philly is impressed.
I am most likely going to eat that chicken the moment you go to sleep.
Don't you
Okay.
dare! No, you don't eat this chicken. I have yet to name it, but you don't eat it.
I think we're having this conversation on the way out of town towards the west.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think probably now would be a good time to take the first break, and we'll
All right.
start with the travel. So